Low enrollment of learners in schools could signify a bleak future for the development of a nation. Furthermore, if the enrollment of both boys and girls in schools is not maintained, the dropout rates would trigger alarms calling for urgent remedial measures. The government of Kenya, through the Ministry of Education, introduced the Secondary Education Quality Improvement Project (SEQIP) to ensure that education offered is well aligned with the ever-advancing human resource requirements.
The program was a nationwide program. It involved books, it involved teacher training, but the most important aspect was an element of school improvement program. But importantly also was to improve the environment in which the children learn.
SEQIP, a 7-year intervention funded by the World Bank, ran from 2017 to 2024.
It is a project that we've been trying to retain the learners in the primary schools and also improve transition from primary to secondary education, and more so by we are improving quality of education.
It targeted 135 sub-counties from 30 educationally and economically disadvantaged counties. The project was executed with a focus on several components.
We have been implementing the project since 2017. We are in Makueni County. We had come to check on the progress of the implementation of the project activities. We have been observing classes for the teachers that have been trained in school-based teacher support system. We have also been observing the implementation of the scholarship program, the gender sensitization program, the availability and adequacy of textbooks, and also the status of the infrastructure, which are some of the interventions that we've been implementing as a project to be able to attain our project development objective.
SEQIP targeted beneficiaries in 7,852 public primary schools and 2,147 public secondary schools in the 135 sub-counties. The requirements of teachers has been a key agenda item of the Teachers Service Commission.
We are required to provide 10% of teachers in the schools that are in the SEQIP counties and the sub-counties in the area of mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, and English. So every new recruitment, Teacher Service Commission was required to make sure that we provide that number of teachers. We have managed over 3,434 teachers.
A further measure has been taken to address the teachers' shortfall.
We introduced live streaming of lessons. Through the SEQIP project, we got funds, and the funds we got were able to buy the equipments. We have that principal schools, and each school is attached to 5 schools, so we have 150.
SBTSS training sessions were conducted at various locations across the country.
So we were able to train teachers in the areas of pedagogy and content around the science subjects. So you'd be able to sit with teachers in the classrooms, hear them teach, see them teach, and then bring them together in teams and get them to actually evaluate themselves in a very objective way. So the teachers were able to actually discern what it was that they were not doing very, very well, the areas that they would be able to improve, and they did this through sitting in teams.
Some highlights stood out for the teachers who attended.
One of the pedagogical content that I learned was the IBL, Individualized Based Learning, where I was able to be trained on how to make my lessons more learner-centered, to make my lesson touch every other student in that class. This has largely changed my lessons. They are more enjoyable to the learners. I can also see the performance improving.
They prepare the lessons together, they peer teach, they go to class, observe, and see the gaps that are there. So when they're doing that, that is what we call case study. And then they do action research and reteach the lesson again, which has made teaching more interesting and easy.
The boys had a negative attitude towards science, but after the training, the teachers employed the new technology They employed the ICT, which is now more exciting, and the students are more focused, because we were looking at the performance and we realized that I can say the mean of like physics was, we were doing a mean of 3 points, but now we are approaching 5. So that one shows clearly that SBTSS has an impact, and if we continue doing it, I know we'll continue moving ahead for better results.
In 2022 physics, we registered a mean score of 2.11 with 7 of my students scoring E. But come 2023 KCSE, no student got an E, and I was able to get a mean score of 3.2, a great improvement.
The teachers were able to have very high self-efficacy in terms of lesson planning, in terms of also scheming, doing the schemes of work, but especially in lesson delivery with respect to pedagogy and also content. So there were areas maybe where teachers were not very secure with or very confident in terms of specific content. We were able to actually work with teachers around this in some of the trainings, and also as we followed them to the classroom level. So this raised a lot of confidence over time, and I think we were able to see it, especially from the KCSE results, because all those areas of mathematics and sciences registered actually an improvement.
The Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, KICD, plays a central role in developing, reviewing and approving curricula and curriculum support materials.
Curriculum support materials come in 3 forms, but mainly textbooks, because the government decided on a policy of giving every learner in our basic education a book in every learning area. Now that's an expensive project, but we have been able to manage it through funding by SECIP.
All public primary schools have been at the core of the rollout of the CBC.
We have been able to distribute promptly all the competency-based curriculum books, but also distribute them for every learner. The primary support material being a book, out of those books, we have been able to adapt all the books for learners with special needs, but we have also been able to produce digital materials, which is the next form of the digital books, and even electronic or broadcast materials out of SECIP support.
CBC is more of learner-centered, and that if it is learner-centered, then it is expected that by the time a teacher is coming to a classroom, the learner will have appreciated what they will be learning. And that is why it is important for them to have the books so that they can appreciate, and they can therefore be able to have a fair interaction with the teacher.
With the availability of textbooks, that has improved learning outcomes in our institutions. There has been an improvement year in, year out.
The project was able to help us get more storage capacity by way of procuring servers, because I'm sure you are aware that unlike in the 844 system, where learners would just do one summative exam at the end of the cycle, this time round in every year the learners are doing formative assessments by way of school-based assessments. So if you consider that we have approximately 1.2 or 1.3 million, depending on the level, in each class, then that is a lot of data that you have to store. So this program helped us to procure more servers, and we are able to deploy our systems and operations in the administration of the school-based assessments without a lot of problems.
We got funding for servers, firewalls, so we were able to make sure that our ICT infrastructure is secure, especially handling examinations. We expanded the bandwidth, and that has helped us a lot because we have been uploading our assessments online, and therefore the development of the competency-based assessment portal was enhanced through this funding. The SECIP project funded international consultants, CITO BV from the Netherlands. They trained our staff on matters of education assessment. They trained our staff on test construction. They trained our staff on scenario-based assessment. They trained our staff on the Common European Framework for the languages. And specifically, we had sessions where they were subject-specific. So we would move into various subjects and get training that was targeting the questions and the best ways of assessing each of the subjects. We were also able to develop an online training program or platform where teachers can enroll and train at their own pace on matters of assessment.
Learners with residual hearing are gaining from some electronic aids.
We have adapted laptops and tablets for learners who are not able to use textbooks and so on, which are loaded with materials.
Assistive digital devices for use by visually impaired learners have come in handy.
Through SECIP, we have been able to acquire assistive devices that have been tailored to the specific needs of the learners in various schools in this country. And that is useful because otherwise some of these children would not have been able to be in school and would not have been able to learn without these assistive devices.
SECIP has been a transformative project enabling 18,000 children from poor and vulnerable families to pursue secondary education.
In this scholarship program, special consideration has been put towards the Girl Child, and 55% of the scholarship will go towards financing the Girl Child and 45% will go towards financing our boy child. Because we would want to make sure, as much as a country we have attained the parity in terms of gender, both at primary and secondary school level, we still feel that there is need to ensure that we retain the girl child in our schools and make sure that they don't fall into the early marriages, the teenage pregnancies, and other challenges, including the FGM that our girls go through, by ensuring that they are in school.
I felt grateful to have gotten the Elimu scholarship. It came as a blessing to the family because personally I did not know if I would join high school or not, but I'm grateful I had gotten the scholarship and I thank God I got it and I promise to do my best.
I'd just like to appreciate the Elimu scholarship for being with us since Form 1. I applied this Elimu scholarship because if it was not for them, I wouldn't be here in Musingo High School. I had a problem in money, the school fees, and all the issues concerned with the admission expenses.
Doing my KCPE exam, I scored 413 marks. I was called to Loreto High School, Limuru. The school was a national school, so it was very expensive. And also thinking about the transport from here to there, it's like 2,000 shillings. And I had other siblings. I have 2 siblings. They also had issues to be taken care of, and we were raised by a single mother. So we started looking for scholarships, and we heard about the Elimu scholarship by the government. It was launched that year, and we decided to take a shot, and we applied for it. Luckily, I was chosen to be part of the program. It enabled me to go to that school. We were always, the school fees was paid. We had shopping, we had the transport, and pocket money. I did all my best, and in the KCSE exams, I scored an A-plane. I was the first one in my class and number 13 overall. And yeah, I was chosen to be part of the program. This program has really been useful to me because currently we're being paid 40,000. 20,000 is being saved at the SACCO. We are given 13,000, 8,000 are the taxes, so the remaining is 13,000. We're given 13,000 with the 20,000 being saved.
Rebecca, ever since she got the internship, life has never been the same again. And I thank God for that. I thank Elimu Scholarship because of you. Rebecca is here through you. God has done something good in my life. And my life has changed.
The county administration has been at the forefront of advocacy for the elevation of education matters.
We need to get everybody back to school, especially those who are still within the age of going back to school.
SECIP has accelerated the capacity building of gender champion teachers to guide the learners accordingly.
We have appointed what we are referring to as gender champions in schools, and also started best me clubs in schools, where the children also discuss their own matters and what might be keeping them away from school. And also they discuss their career aspirations, and through the gender champion they are also able to identify issues of school-based gender violence, and also together agree on how to best address them.
Some of the issues that we discussed about leadership, hygiene, how to pursue in certain situation, how to face some challenges.
We normally have some mentorship sessions. Of course, we have a WhatsApp group, we gender champions, and we're normally guided. We also have some modules, and we normally give to the girls. Them talking about things that they experience might be very emotional. So that is when I come in, to guide them and also show them how they're supposed to handle certain situation. Because some of the girls are coming from broken families, some of them are coming from single parents. But that is not a barrier for them to pursue education.
School infrastructure improvement in the targeted regions saw several structures come up.
This was a World Bank funded project through the Ministry of Education and, built at Semastia. It's an ultra-modern space with auditoriums. It's got a big auditorium of about capacity of 210 people. It's got a hall for training, a training center. It's got studios, about, I've seen 4 studios for audio visual, recordings. It's also got, spaces where we can have ICT in terms of storage of information and the like, a lot of equipment in terms of just general, support of ICT in terms of storage. And then it also has, offices and spaces where people who come in for training can be able to interact, breakaway rooms or spaces. As we look at the STEM pathway, we are looking at grade 10 and the senior school, taking up 60% of the current population of students that are in the junior school. So for these children to transit to the STEM pathway, government is looking at 60% of these children being able to be picked up. So for us, we are seeing an opportunity in strengthening sciences by using those spaces, especially the studios, to strengthen the virtual labs.
When the SECI project came, I think it came very handy because we were given 6 classrooms by the SECI project.
We benefited from 3 classrooms, and they are quite spacious. Each one of them is carrying a capacity of 45 students, and it has gone a long way to improve on congestion of students in classrooms, because we would staff about 70, 80 students in one class. But now, because of the completion of this SECI program, we have spread them out, and now they are comfortably seated and having a conducive learning environment.
We have 2 laboratories, a twin laboratory that has also been built and completed. All the classrooms and the laboratories are complete, and they are in use.
We really appreciate to the SECI program in the ministry. They were able to give us a tank of 10,000 liters, which it makes the school now easier for the learners to get the water in the compound.
Each special school got 2 water tanks. They have the classrooms fully complete and the sanitation facilities.
Education officials and other stakeholders are optimistic that positive results have already been experienced.
As we come to an end, we are happy and excited about the achievements we've been able to make, and we want to thank the government and the World Bank for supporting the ministry in addressing some of the challenges that have been facing the sector. We've been able to realize improvement in the student learning in secondary education, in science, mathematics and English subject, where the improvement has gone from a range of a mean of 1.6 to 2.6. We have also been able to realize enhanced or improved retention of our learners in the upper primary, where the KCP candidature has grown since 2017 to 2023 by about 46%. We have also been able to improve the transition from primary to secondary education through the Elimu Scholarship Program, where we have benefited 18,000 learners, and also improved the learning environment through construction of classrooms, laboratories, and sanitation facilities. The transition has increased from 77.2% to about 87.5%, which is quite commendable. We have also been able to get support on policy formulation and implementation, where we have realized some reforms in the school scholarship management and administration, then also the textbook procurement and management. Currently, 82% of the schools are reporting a 1:1 textbook ratio. As we come to the end, our recommendation is that the ministry and the government may look into upscaling some of the interventions that have been very successful for us to be able to deepen the gains of the project interventions.
It's hoped that these will culminate in vastly improved education outcomes as the SECIP concludes and beyond.